It's the October 25th North Idaho College Board of Trustees meeting. President Swain, 2 real Republican trustees, 3 rated and vetted KCRCC trustees, and 2 crony attorneys that they've hired. The president is salaried. The trustees work for free. But those 2 attorneys got paid $1,993.75 of taxpayer money that day just to sit there. One of them said nothing the entire meeting. Well, the terrible trio doesn't mind paying their crony attorneys $725 an hour to warm 2 chairs. They had a tizzy back in September and once again in October about funding nonprofits where the college or President Swain is a member, such as the Coeur d'Alene Economic Development Corporation, which the college funds for about $10,000 to $15,000 a year, and the Coeur d'Alene Rotary Club, where the college pays an annual $300 membership for Dr. Swain. So this happened during public comment.
Greg Green, community member, I guess. I'm here for something that's kind of silly, but quite honestly, I thought it was sort of a slap in the face that the board refused to pay Dr. Swain's $300 bill for something like economic development or something like that. You know, we can pay 2 attorneys, but we can't pay for him to be a part of an economic development group. So I'm just going to give you the $300, Dr. Swain. And I apologize.
The $300 cash was directly donated to the NIC Foundation, which is yet another organization loathed by Banducci, McKenzie, and the KCRCC cabal. During public comment, my friend Teresa Borenpaul artfully positioned herself between the far-right camera dude and someone making public comment. This type of civil disobedience is appreciated by the extremist mob when their people do it, but not when it comes from their opposition.
Can you pause the time? Security, will you please, this lady is interrupting this person, she's interrupting his experience.
I'm up next, I'm just waiting.
Okay, well then can you move to the side so you're not interrupting people?
This side or this side?
How about close to me on the other side, so you're not interrupting the cameras?
Nobody else was given that direction.
Well, they weren't specifically holding hands in front of cameras.
I was adjusting my hair.
I saw you.
Okay.
So, are you going to move or?
I don't think she's done anything that would violate.
Mr. Shepler got up and took Teresa's place.
I'll stay. What is your camera name, sir?
Actually, you could just stand right here.
Sir, what is your camera name?
I'm gonna go right over here, thank you.
What is your name? Jeremy. Jeremy. Do you feel that your camera is being directly obstructed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same as sitting in
Which
front of
news station is he with?
Does it matter? He's an important individual.
What news station?
Just like you're an important individual. Let's show each other respect, please.
But I'm not allowed to stand there, but the press is. He's in the press box, but he's not with the organization. Ask for his press pass.
Mr. Chair, I have an exception here with the president. Are you seriously going to side with somebody being that rude, blatantly, and intentionally? Is that really the position you're going to take as our president here at this college?
What is this gentleman doing standing? What is this gentleman doing standing?
I'd like that.
Why?
I don't want to be filmed.
You don't want to be filmed.
It's a public
No,
meeting.
I don't want to be filmed.
I believe there's already a film on you just by being part of
That's
the
a
meeting.
news station. I don't want to be filmed by somebody that's not part of the media.
You don't have that
Thank you.
choice.
I'm really sorry, but
Do you feel,
I also
do you
have
feel
a choice
threatened
of
by
free
him?
speech.
Do you feel threatened by him?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
That's a nice full bed.
Okay,
okay.
are you going to start the clock and may I finish? Because this is perfect segue to what we're talking about right now.
Okay. All right, please start her timing, or 20 seconds. Go ahead.
The 2 of you interrupt, cut people off, and only allow 2 minutes for public comment when other government meetings allow 3. Both of you are patronizing and rude to anyone that says something that is truthful and hits a nerve. If you, as Chair Greg, would get a grip on your meetings, then they wouldn't be 4 to 5 hours, and you could go to bed.
At the previous meeting, McKenzie insisted that the board, specifically himself, meddle in the president's hiring of a firm to craft the college's strategic plan. This job is the president's sole responsibility, which he asserts despite rude McKenzie's indignation.
Last meeting, the board expressed a desire to see kind of the results of the RFP with the recommendations from individual participants that hasn't been provided to the board yet.
I said I was not going to provide that. The recommendation, the review, and that is done by the internal committee, and is not something that I want to share with the board.
Okay, so the board has an oversight role, and the board is communicating that we want to see that information.
I'm sorry, but no. No. I'm not providing that. I don't think it's appropriate.
Thank you for holding your ground, Dr. Swain. And pour yourself a stronger drink.
Trustee Wagner.
Which one?
Next comes the update. Well deserved. Next comes the update from Trustee Wagner addressing what McKenzie wanted regarding a membership policy. Time once again for the rated and vetted board, minus Wagner, which I can respect, to micromanage which organizations the president can belong to. Remember that $300?
Dr. Swain had talked about a membership policy. We took a look at that and really decided that that is an administration procedure, and we really don't need a policy at this point.
Say that again? Like a nonprofit membership, so you're not working on a policy for that?
That's correct.
Banducci and McKenzie do not like the college participating in nonprofits, even when the nonprofit's mission goes hand in glove with the college's mission, which is the case with the Coeur d'Alene Economic Development Corporation. That's the real one. This is why they quibbled over Dr. Swain's $300 Rotary Club membership. It's a pittance, especially compared with what they spent on their crony attorneys and continue to spend for every meeting.
Okay, so you're telling me the Board of Trustees, you don't want a policy on nonprofit participations?
We could not find one example in any community college where that policy existed. Not one.
They quibbled over this non-issue for a while, eventually dragging in Fart Cucumber, who, remember, is only there to do his investigation. Colton Boyles is supposedly the board's attorney, but he just sat there and said nothing.
Let's see, that's $2.75 an hour, which is $9.16 a minute, or 15 cents a second. Not bad. Not bad.
McKenzie just can't let it go.
Okay, this is wrong.
That's all.
I don't know if it's right or wrong. I'm just trying to ask what the Idaho code.
No, I'm tired of taxpayer money going to opaque nonprofits.
1.3.
How about 2 attorneys?
Okay.
2.7.
We give this lady, and
No,
this is her
I'll
second
leave
time
because
interrupting.
you,
She's
sir,
asking
are a
her-
joke. And a joke.
Okay.
And
Is
you
she gonna-
refuse
is
to
security
learn.
gonna come? Why do I have to get involved?
Gladly leave
You don't have to get involved.
your
She's
farce of a
leaving.
business meeting.
She's not leaving. I'm
Stewart-
watching.
I'm walking out the door.
Stewart is
Watch me
escorting
go. Bye bye, internet.
Is this lady
I
gonna
hope
get
your
over?
KCRCC is good there too.
So,
I hope you heard her last comment.
Bastards.
Mrs. Shepler, I know how frustrating it is to see a college destroyed by a twerp like Greg McKenzie and a Neanderthal thug like Todd Banducci. We all need to hang in there until the voters wise up and replace these clowns.
I'm also a taxpayer, and I'm tired of my taxpayer monies going to nonprofits and they turn it around and use it for political gain. And I can name names.
Go for it.
Wow. Who is that?
Trustee Banducci, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, if the crowd has another outburst, I recommend we clear the room.
As much as Todd shows disdain for the public process, what he just suggested here is completely illegal. In Idaho, a public meeting must take place in a location that is accessible to the public. You clear the room, and you shut down public access, and magically, you create an illegal meeting. Not that following the law means anything to the KCRCC trustees.
Something I'm going to say for the record here. It's interesting how this has become such an issue of high import with the NWCCU, and when we've been evaluated by them many times over the years, and there were some trustees that were very long-term members, and yet some of these board policies hadn't been updated in 20 years. So it's sort of ironic how it's all landed in our lap. And for 4 of you, you haven't even been on the board as more than a couple years. And so I guess we're cleaning up the mess that's accumulated over all these years.
Let's talk about those trustees who've been long-term members. Aren't you one of them, Todd? Aren't you including yourself here, creating the mess you call out for all those years? You could have addressed it since you were first elected in 2012. But no, you have done nothing about it for 11 years. Remember, when you point a finger at someone else, you're pointing 3 back at yourself. Finally, you may remember from my last rant how Greg McKenzie has a habit of saying, "It's getting late," as the meeting he can't run slouches toward midnight.
Getting late? It's getting late. 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 Let's pass this motion and go to bed. I say we just call the question and we go to bed.
Leave it to Mr. Shepler to come up with a great trick to count the number of times Greggy reminds us that his inept leadership is dragging a 90-minute meeting to the 3-hour mark.
Is there a need for discussion? It's getting late. I'm going to proceed to a vote unless you raise your hand. All those in favor of passing this calendar say so moved.
Right.
Say aye.
Aye.
It is getting late.
It is getting late.
Aye.
You're in 2, 3, going to 3.
I want this to be a new thing. When Greg says it's getting late or he needs to go to bed or take a nap or whatever, please follow Mr. Shepler's lead and raise your hand, showing the number of times Chair McKenzie has said it's getting late. Such fun. The business of college should, however, be taken seriously. But the KCRCC rated and vetted trustees quibble. They micromanage, they waste money on crony attorneys, they bully and berate the public. The board didn't even discuss the alleged $1.3 million payout to a former employee, whoever that could be. McKenzie tabled the item because, well, it was getting late. Accreditation remains under threat, and the KCRCC wants to spread this chaos to your school districts and to your city councils. Remember to get out and vote.